What's up everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I'll be going through my round 22 AFL tips. Only 2 more rounds to go in the home and away season. And I just sort of don't want the season to finish because then footy will be gone and what the hell am I going to be doing for the next 5 months? But anyways, let's go through my tips and we'll start off with round 21. I got a total of 6 out of 9 and you know, I'll probably take that. It was probably... yeah, it was better than average, top 29%. So whenever you do get better than average, you always take that. Not a bad feat at all. I did tip Melbourne to beat Collingwood, and unfortunately got that one incorrect by a fair amount because I don't know why I went Demons by 37. They played like they were going to win by 37 early on, to be fair. I tipped Hawthorn correctly against Gold Coast. I tipped Eston. Didn't really expect the Giants to win that. This is a good tip to get. I went for Freo when most went the Dogs. Got the Cats to beat the Saints. I tipped Port Adelaide to beat Richmond. Got that one incorrect. Sydney to beat North, Brisbane to Carlton, Adelaide to beat West Coast. So a good final round. A few 50-50 games, and I got a few of those 50-50 games correct. So, you know, 6 out of 9, you know, isn't too bad at all, to be honest. So we head to the big calls, and I don't really need to go over them again. I didn't get a single one correct, so it's been a very, very long time since the last time I got 3 or more correct. If people get the most likes by such a substantial amount like the 2 Aussies did, I might not even bother with the wheel, because most people want to see that, don't they? So screw it, I'll do a full, guys, till I win stream. Then play customs eventually, maybe in the next 1 or 2 weeks. So there you go. I'm not going to bother with a wheel. That'll be the punishment. Well done, the 2 Aussies. Let's just get right into the tips. So the first game on the Friday night, we've got St Kilda taking on Brisbane at Marvel Stadium. The Saints, they were up against the Cats at the Cattery on the weekend. And we had actually a decent start to the game. I know the first quarter wasn't the best. But the second quarter, we really ran over the top of the Cats and looked like there could be the slightest chance of a potential upset. But of course, what you'd expected leading into the game occurred in the second half, and yeah, we were just not that good at all. It was just disappointing. The same old. We didn't really change our game plan. It was the same crap after halftime. So stagnant with the way we moved the ball, and the Cats cut us off pretty easily. The Cats obviously are the team to beat. They're just playing the game super, and I definitely reckon at this rate they're going to win the flag. I mean, they've won 11 in a row, and convincingly 11 in a row. And yeah, Brisbane, they got the win against the Blues. A pretty complete performance, to be honest, apart from a few patches in the last. I think they conceded 8 goals in the last quarter, which it's been a problem for the Lions, their defence. And, you know, the fact that they conceded 8 again in the last quarter is probably something to, you know, raise eyebrows on. But still, I think the Lions would be happy with that win. 33 points against the Blues. And to be honest, it smells like a recipe for disaster for the Saints. We never show up in these big games at all. I'm not expecting a win. I'm not confident whatsoever. But it'd be great if we got the win in this one. But, you know, I'm going to go very pessimistic here and be honest with this one. I feel like the Lions are going to smash us for some reason. We've been playing disastrous footy as of late. Have not played a good game since the Carlton game, to be honest. So I'm going to go the Saints to lose. I'm going to go the Lions to win this one by 53 points. Surely it can't get any worse than what I just predicted there. My big call for this one will be that Danaher and Hipwood combined for 7 or more goals. Next game on the Saturday, we've got the Dogs taking on the Giants at Marvel. This is a must-win game for the Dogs. And you wouldn't expect them to drop this game, particularly against the Giants outfit, who have been atrocious this year. I mean, of course, they did get a good win against the Bombers last week, and it was probably because of the fact that Mark McVeigh was so animated post-game against the Swans. They just needed some sort of response, and they got it. They were actually pretty good, and they run rings around the Bombers from 1 point in the third, I think midway through the third to midway in the last. They kicked like 8. I think 8 unanswered potentially. So the Giants, yeah, they were very good actually against the Bombers, I have to say. And the Dogs, well, they weren't as good against the Dockers. I mean, that was a must-win game for finals. They still could make finals. I mean, I think the Fox Footy ladder still predicts the Dogs to make it. So yeah, they just win the next 2, and it's probably going to happen. Yeah, you'd expect the Dogs to bounce back. They play the best footy at Marvel, and yeah, you'd think they'd match up pretty comfortably against the Giants. So I'm going to the Dogs to win this one. I'll probably be at the game actually. So if I am at the game, I'll be supporting the Giants in this one because obviously I do want them to win. So I'm going to go the Dogs to win this one by 29 points. And for this one, a big call will be that the Dogs kick 7 or more goals in any quarter. So the next game of the round, we've got the Crows take on North at the Adelaide Oval. Now on Sportsbet, the odds for North are $6, so that just highlights how poorly they've been this season, considering they're up against the side who is still in the bottom 4. But Adelaide's form as of late has actually been quite impressive with 2 wins on the trot. Of course, beating the Blues the week prior, but then, you know, last week they got the job done against the Eagles in Kennedy's farewell game. And that could have easily been a loss because it was all about Kennedy. He kicked 8. It was just, yeah, really good scenes to witness. But of course, the Crows managed to hold on in Rory Ledd's 200th. And Fogarty kicked 3 goals in the last quarter. He kicked 4 overall. And yeah, it was just a good performance from the Crows. They'd be happy with that. And they have definitely got a chance in this one as well. You'd expect them to win. I mean, North, yeah, they've not been that great, obviously, this season. And, you know, last week they were actually better. I thought they were actually performing quite well. They scored 88, which, correct me if I'm wrong, that might almost be their highest score this season. Of course, they did lose the game by 39 altogether, but it was still a fairly impressive performance, even though they lost. And Nick Larkey, he kicked 7 goals as well, which was a highlight for the Roos, but you'd obviously go the Crows in this one, and that's exactly what I'll be doing. I think the Crows at the Adelaide Oval, they're actually a decent side, and I think they'll win this one by 37 points. My big call on this one will be that Rory Laird has 40 or more disposals. So next up at Metricon Stadium, we've got the Gold Coast Suns and the Cats. The Suns are mathematically no chance of making the 8 anymore after losing to the Hawks last week, and from what I heard, they just didn't really play with the right mindset. We're just playing boring footy from the get-go. And I think they scored 8 goals, 15. So they could have won the game, and they did fight back late at the end, but it was just not enough, and the Hawks were able to get the job done. Of course, I was at the other game between the Cats and the Saints. It was just another disappointing performance from the Saints, of course, but the Cats, another classy performance. Always at GMHBA, they get it done. And yeah, everyone really expected it to be the case before the game started. And if I would have told you that the Cats got the job done by 45, yeah, no one really would have had too much of a shock. There weren't really any star performances for the Cats. It was honestly quite an even contribution from all the Cats players to get the win. So yeah, the Cats, for mine, I think they'll get the job done. I know the Suns play alright at Metricon, and a few weeks ago I actually thought the Suns were going to win this, but Cats are in too good a form, and the Suns are slightly dropping off in my opinion. But I think the Suns will actually be up for the challenge, but I'm going to go the Cats to win this one by 14 points. With my big call that the Suns are in front at any stage in the last quarter. Next game of the round, we've got the D's taking on the Blues at the MCG. The D's, they were pretty unlucky not to win against the Pies on the weekend. They were definitely clearing away the better team in the first half. They probably should have been up by 5 or 6 goals at half time, because the Pies, every time they had a chance at goal, they took their opportunity, and the D's, well, they had a lot of the ball in that first half. Of course, in one of the games of the year, they went down by 7 against the Pies. Second time they've lost against the Pies this season. And yeah, just put the spanner in the work for their potential top 4 chances. They're definitely going to win this game against the Blues. But I'd arguably say it's a more important game for Carlton because, you know, again, with another loss against the Lions on the weekend, and a poor loss at that, their top 8 chances are really on the line here, and they've got to win at least one of their next 2 games to make the finals. And with a tough fixture ahead of the Blues in the next 2 weeks, yeah, it honestly might not happen. I mean, the D's, yeah, I don't think they're going to drop this one. I mean, the Blues just haven't been in good form as of late. And they were down by as much as 57 at 3/4 time against the Lions. So they were just not good enough. It doesn't matter what happened in the last quarter. They had a fight back with 8 goals, but still, the D's for mine should get this win. And I don't think it'll necessarily be a comfortable win, but I think they should get it done by around 4 goals. So I'll go 24 points. And for this one, the big call will be that the D's are in front for the entire game. So the next game on this Saturday night, we've got the Derby at Optus Stadium between the Dockers and the Eagles. Normally, the Derby's played on Sunday, like the 4:40 time slot in Vic time, but you know, Saturday night. It won't be Channel 7 game, but it's still Saturday night game, which is something different for the 2 Perth teams. But we've got the Dockers and the Eagles. Obviously, the Dockers recorded a very important win on the weekend to keep their top 4 chances alive against the Dogs. A game that a lot of people didn't expect them to actually win in the first place. And the Eagles, they just couldn't quite get it done for Josh Kennedy, although, let's be real, he kicked 8. He couldn't have really had any better performance. But, you know, with so much on the line for the Dockers, and they've obviously been clear and above the better side this season, you'd expect them to get a pretty comfortable result. Although the Eagles, I'll be honest, in the last 5 weeks, although they haven't picked up a result, they definitely have been getting better. They only have had like 1 performance in those 5 weeks where they've really been smashed. So could this be a smashing? It definitely could be, but I don't think it will be. It's not normally a smashing in the Derby, and I think West Coast will try and compete all game, but obviously it won't be enough for them. So I'm going to go Fremantle to win this game by 40 points with my big call. Freo have 13 more scoring shots than the Eagles. We head to the Sunday games, and the first one is one of the more important games shaping up the top 8. We've got Richmond and Hawthorn at the MCG. The Tigers, they got a very important win on the weekend, a huge win against the Power. They were just all over them after half-time. They won that one by 38. Shai Bolton, he's arguably the best player in the competition at the moment. He just always has so many looks on goal. He had another 9 shots. If he just fixed up his goal kicking, he'd be kicking over 50 goals easily. And the Hawks on the weekend, they got a pretty good win against the Suns. They just held on. It wasn't like the most classy win or anything like that, but at UTAS, they always played well at UTAS, and they got another good win there. But obviously, in this matchup with what's on the line for the Tigers. And even if there was nothing on the line for the Tigers, you'd still expect them to get the job done. They're in some really good form. They haven't lost by more than 6 points since round 6, the Tigers. So people are sort of quick to forget that they've been pretty much in every game they play. And in this one, you'd expect the Tigers to get the job done. Although, obviously, I'll be hoping the Hawks get the win for the Saints' sake. But Richmond should win this game fairly comfortably, in my opinion, by 27 points. With a big call that Richmond come back from 20 plus points down and win the game. 2 more games to go here, and we've got the Swans taking on the Pies at the SCG. Just such a huge clash, shaping up the top 4. The Swans, I think they've won 6 in a row now, and the Pies, well, we all know they've won 11 in a row. And I've got a video on my channel going over the amount of close wins in a season and how they've got the record. So I know it hasn't done great, but if you want to check that out, you can. The Pies, again, they just keep getting it done. I'm sitting here every week saying that the Pies keep getting done in close ones, and that was again the case against the D's on the weekend. Winning by 7 in the game that at halftime looked lost. It looked like it wasn't theirs to win. But they just keep finding a way, especially when they're down. When they're down and out, they still find a way to claw back and win games. And Sydney, well, it was a pretty simple task for them, beat North Melbourne, and they did just that. Although it wasn't as easy as it seemed. North did score 88 points, and they did lose a little bit of percentage late in that one to not overtake the D's in third. But it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, you know, the Swans will probably overtake them if they win the next 2 games. So, yeah, this is a huge game of footy. Sydney are favourites because at the SCG, and you could arguably say they've been more convincing form-wise as of late. Although the Pies, you can't write them off. I always write the Pies off. Everyone thinks I hate them. I don't hate them. So to prove that I don't hate the Pies, I'll tip them in this one, just so you guys can shut up for a week. Collingwood to win this one by 5 points. Again, another close one. And my big call in this game will be that both teams kick 15 or more goals. And the final game of the round, we've got Essendon taking on Port Adelaide, a pretty irrelevant contest on the Sunday 4:40 time slot. It's just been such a disappointing season for the Power. And again, it was further highlighted on the weekend against the Tigers, where they were just extremely disappointing, particularly after half-time. Losing at home by 38 points, you'd expect a better fight from a team such as the Power, who, I'll be honest, the Power, they haven't really had too many poor games where they've been disgusted. And they're up against a Bombers outfit who were very poor on the weekend against the Giants, a team who have just been in incredibly poor form, the Giants. But besides that game, you can't really discredit or disregard Essendon's recent form. It's been pretty decent, to be honest. I feel like this game, normally between Essendon and Port, I don't recall the last close game between these two sides. I'm going to look at the form guide. 50-66, 65-119. They've all been smashing, so form suggests that this will be another smashing. And form suggests that the Power, they've got the last 4 wins against the Bombers. I know it's at Marvel, but we're going to go on form in this one, and we're going to go the Power to win this one fairly comfortably by 28 points, with my big call, Port win any quarter by 30 or more points. So those are my big calls and tips for round 22. I went the Lions, the Dogs, the Crows, the Cats, the D's, the Dockers, the Tigers, the Pies, and the Power. With the tips for Friday night, I'm probably not going to get 53 points for the Lions. It's sort of just a joke tip. I don't genuinely think it's going to happen, although it wouldn't shock me if it did. So I'm just going to go Lions by 14 for anyone wondering. I'm not going to go 53. So we'll submit the tips and we'll go through the tipping comp with 2 rounds to go to see who is in contention for top spot. So we'll firstly have a look at round 21, and we had no one getting a perfect score of 9. Normally we get at least someone with a perfect score, but this time round only 8 was the most, and we had 20 people get 8, so well done for that. And Dabarite got the best score of the round with 8 tips correct, and a margin of 0, which was incredible. And then we have all the other people also tipping 8 as well. So of course we'll head to the total score, and with the Joker rounds, and I might have 1 or 2 more during the rest of the season. Maybe someone can overtake Nick Dacos official, but at the moment it doesn't seem like that's going to happen, because he's up by 4 at the moment over Docker Army 07, Lion Bolt on 161, this guy on 159, he's climbing actually, to be fair, Kebab King 158, Hayden Burke 158, Avon Katz 157, Jazz Boy 157, Big Noz 157, Jake Felipe, Jack Wood, Jack IFL, and Buck for Life. So, yeah, Ryan Marshall's son has dipped, and Riser, he's on 17 points. I don't think there's any chance of him making the top 5 or whatever, but he's 9 away. Imagine he wins it. So anyways, guys, those are my tips for round 22. Again, if you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. We're on the road, I guess, to 25k by the end of the year, and let's hope we can get that going. I've got content coming out for the rest of the week, so stay tuned for that. It won't just be the regular vlogs and tips and all that sort of stuff. It'll be different content, so keep an eye out for that sort of stuff as well. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you soon in my next one.